This is the second part to the classification of matter series. In this series, we're going to be talking about elements, compounds, and mixtures. So what is an element? An element is a pure substance that cannot be broken down into any other substances by chemical or physical means. Okay, so an element is a pure substance that cannot be broken down into any other substances by chemical or physical means. Elements are the simplest substances. So elements are the simplest substances. Each element can be identified by its specific physical and chemical properties. So each element can be identified by its specific physical and chemical properties. Now, there are particles of elements that are called atoms. And an atom is the basic particle from which all elements are made. Now, atoms combine to form larger particles called molecules. A molecule is made out of a group of two or more atoms. So a molecule is made out of a group of two or more atoms that are held together by chemical bonds. So for example, you could have a water molecule, okay, and a water molecule has two hydrogen atoms chemically bonded to one oxygen atom. Or you could also have an oxygen molecule. An oxygen molecule is different because you don't have two different elements that are bound together to make a molecule. You have two atoms of the same element that are coming together. So oxygen has two atoms of the oxygen element that are chemically bonded together to make the oxygen molecule stable. Okay, so oxygen has two atoms of the oxygen element chemically bonded together. The next thing we're going to talk about are compounds. Okay, so compounds. All matter is made of elements, that's what we just learned. But most elements in nature are found combined with other elements. So you can remember compound, combined. Okay, compounds are combined. So a compound is a pure substance that's made of two or more elements that are chemically combined in a set ratio. Okay, so it has to have two or more elements chemically combined in a set ratio. So a compound may be represented by a chemical formula. So you might see that for carbon dioxide, you have CO2, okay, or water as H2O. Okay, so there's a set ratio for these compounds. You see that there's 2 oxygen and 1 carbon, and 2 hydrogen with 1 oxygen atom. If the ratio of elements within the chemical formula is different, then you will have a different compound. So carbon monoxide, that's the silent killer that if you breathe, you can't smell it, and you can't see it, but if you breathe it, then that could cause you to die. So carbon monoxide, okay, mono means 1, so it has 1 oxygen and 1 carbon. That's different than carbon dioxide, which is CO2, okay, and di is for 2. Okay, carbon dioxide is a gas that you exhale, and it's also the gas that producers like plants need for them to be able to produce their own food through photosynthesis. So just the little differences between the chemical formula, the having the 2 versus not having the 2, that 1 oxygen atom makes a huge difference in that type of compound that you're looking at and how that functions. And the next thing we need to talk about are mixtures. So what are mixtures? A mixture is made of 2 or more substances. And those substances could be elements, could be compounds, or both. And they're all together in the same place, but not chemically combined. Okay, so they're both in the same physical place, but not chemically combined. And mixtures differ from compounds in 2 ways. So you could say that each substance in a mixture keeps its individual properties. Okay, so the parts of a mixture are not combined in a set ratio. Okay, so we know that in mixtures, each of the substances included in that mixture keeps its own individual properties. Okay, and the parts of the mixture are not combined in a set ratio. It's not like carbon dioxide where you have 2 oxygen atoms and a carbon at all times to make carbon dioxide. So a mixture is always changing. There are 2 types of mixtures. Okay, you have a heterogeneous mixture and a heterogeneous mixture is when it's easy to see the different parts of the mixture. Okay, so hetero, you can think different. Okay, and then homogeneous mixtures are so evenly mixed you cannot see the different parts. Okay, so you can think that the homo prefix is for same. Okay, so it looks all the same. It's so evenly mixed you can't tell that there's different parts. So for example, for a homogeneous mixture, you have Kool-Aid, and that's a homogeneous mixture. and it's a homogeneous mixture of water particles and sugar particles. And the sugar particles dissolve into the water to create a solution. However, the water and sugar particles still remain separate. They still retain their separate properties, so they're not chemically combining. So this is a solution and a homogeneous mixture. Okay, so let's take a little look at this comparison matrix, okay, between an element, a compound, and a mixture. Okay, so the composition, an element would be considered a pure substance. Okay, a compound could be considered a pure substance. And a mixture, it is not pure. Okay. Okay, so an element. We know that it can't be broken down by physical or chemical means. We know that its simplest form can't be broken down by physical or chemical. Okay. So compound, we know it is, we'll change colors here, made of two or more elements chemically combined in a set ratio. And mixture is made of two or more, two plus, okay, substances. That are physically together but not chemically. And we say does not equal chemically. Okay, so they're physically together but not chemically together. So what are some examples of elements? Well, you might have like oxygen. Okay, there's two oxygen atoms coming together to form the oxygen molecule. You might have a compound. Okay, examples of compounds we talked about were carbon dioxide, water, and mixture. What are some examples of mixtures to help you? You might have Kool-Aid. Okay, and that would be your homogeneous mixture. Or you might have Chex Mix. And that could be your example of a heterogeneous mixture. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the matter pyramid. So this is easy for you to be able to differentiate between how matter all works itself out and the different things we've talked about. Okay, so you have matter at the top. This is the matter pyramid. Okay, and breaking itself down, okay, you have either pure substances or not pure. Okay, so with the pure substance, you can either have an element or a compound. Okay, and under not pure, you can either have a homogeneous mixture or heterogeneous mixture. Okay, thank you for listening. If you need to rewind any of those parts, feel free to do so.